What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AC Reviews the World. I am your host, AC the Engineer. We are at episode 126. 126. Hopefully, everybody had a good weekend. It is Monday, February 9th, 2026, year of our Lord. And it was the Super Bowl yesterday. Hopefully, everybody had a good time. There's been a lot of debates now about the Super Bowl halftime show. Tell me your thoughts. Just because one of the reasons, I will say this, we're just going to get a little sidetrack a little bit. One of the reasons I was all right with it. I mean, I like the visuals, but just the fact that I couldn't understand it threw me off a lot. So people say you should be able to vibe with the music. I'm not a big fan of Bad Bunny. Now, there's a Despacito. I don't know one word they say in that song, but I'll vibe out to that song. But let me know your thoughts on that. Just a little side note. But tell me how you thought about it. Did you watch the other one with Kid Rock? I started to watch a little bit of it. I'm not a big country fan either. So, but you know how we do it. We got a lot of things to talk about today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about and review together because the world is a crazy place and we have to review the world together. You know how the show goes. We meet Monday through Friday around 6 o'clock where we discuss 4 different topics and 4 different topics that pop up on my recommendeds that just need to be reviewed. Now, if you ever disagree with anything I say, please leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. This is not no echo chamber. I'm not going to say I know everything. So let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion. That's what the world needs. Let's have a discussion. But the first topic, I like to do it. Let's jump right into it. How Future say, let's have a sensational show today, y'all. Let's have a sensational show. But you know how I like to do it. We're going to jump right into it. The first topic we're going to go over into, we got teachers are striking in San Francisco. So we got 120 public schools are closed because after a strikes. So after the teachers go on strike, and it's the first strike since I think they said 1979. So we're going to get over into that and see what we make of this whole situation. Let me change that real quick. But let's jump over into it. We got 2 videos to look at. And then we're not going to do an AI breakdown because we'll get the gist of everything. But let's get into it.
San Francisco parents left scrambling this morning as all public schools in the city are closed.
Yeah, teachers didn't get what they wanted in their union's negotiations with the district. So listen up. If you're a parent, teachers by the thousands will leave their classrooms for picket lines today. This is after major Bay Area leaders pushed for both sides to get a deal done, including Mayor Daniel Lurie.
I'm disappointed that parties could not come to an agreement. And frankly, I am frustrated. There is no reason both parties can't be at the table right now figuring this out.
Well, here's a big number for you. The district serves more than 50,000 students. So maybe to help you visualize just the sheer number of that, think about all the seats you saw watching the Super Bowl at Levi's Stadium. If most of those seats were filled, that's the number of students we're talking about here.
Yeah, and every family belonging to those students wondering how long a strike could last. So our Veronica Macias is at Marina Middle School this morning in San Francisco. And
here's a question. So if the teachers go on strike and they come back, do they have to make up that time? I'm assuming so because they got to meet a certain curriculum. But let's keep going.
Veronica, we're seeing them gathering as they strike this morning.
Good morning. Yes, those union members have arrived here at Marina Middle. These are among the 6,000 educators that you're going to see spread out throughout San Francisco schools today. Really a historic moment. We haven't seen scenes like this one for some 50 years here in San Francisco. This morning, I've been able to talk to some of these union members, and they tell me, listen, we don't want to be here. We don't want to be on strike, but we have to do this because teachers are being priced out of San Francisco. So we know that classes are canceled today for some 50,000 students after the two sides met on Saturday for some 8 hours and they failed to produce a deal here. So what's the sticking point? It's all about wages right now. The latest offer from the district is at 3% per year for 2 years with fully funded family health care benefits, and they offer the also possible setbacks here, which is trying to level things out for the cost. We know that the district right now is in dire financial situations. And, you know, we talked to these teachers earlier this morning about the situation. They tell me this was really needed in order to get a deal across at the table. Take a listen to what a special education teacher told me this morning.
As a special education teacher, it's really important to me that we stand up and don't stop. We can't wait any longer. We've been waiting for a really long time for changes to special education, and our caseloads are just not manageable the way they are now, and we really want to make sure we can get to every student the way we need to and the way they deserve.
Okay, so what is happening in the meantime as teachers are on the picket lines? We know that the district so far has sent out independent study packets. Those packets, though, are just for a total of 5 days. We know that they're in different languages, and teachers out here have also said that they have really organized coordinated efforts to help their families out. So if you are a family who has a child enrolled in public education, you're looking for assistance here, you're looking to gather. We know that teachers have been encouraging parents to have student pods. We also know that students are heading over to the Willie Mays Boys and Girls Club over at Hunters Point. And we know that some parents have even gone as far as to organize some field trips today. And we know that the district and the union is going to go back to the negotiating table later today at noon over at the district. And of course, we'll bring you the latest developments. We know that the union also expected to speak out later this morning. Reed, Gianna?
It can only last so long. You only got so much time where the parents can stay off of work and take care, or if the parent is working, stay out of work and look after their children and do something with them. Or it depends on how old they are. They might can stay home alone, but the longer they wait, the more it's going to push back the school year, the more information they're missing. But let's get over into this next video.
Schools in California's 7th largest school district are closed today, leaving tens of thousands of students out of the classroom. And that is because San Francisco public school teachers are on strike for the first time in nearly 50 years. The union, representing about 6,000 educators, negotiated through the weekend, but could not come to an agreement about major sticking points. Let's go live now to San Francisco and CBS News Bay Area reporter Veronica Macias. Veronica, we can hear those striking teachers out there with you there. Can you break down what led to the strike and what's keeping the two sides apart?
Good morning, Mugo. Yeah, these teachers out here saying housing is a human right, and this has been a fight over wages. These teachers, educators out here, they've been pushing for months to get an increase in wages. They say they're being priced out of San Francisco. Meanwhile, the district, though, faces a declining enrollment with a projected budget deficit of $100 million. Now, the two sides, like you said, have been meeting. They came together over the weekend. They met for a total of 8 hours on Saturday. Still, no deal was reached. The latest offer here includes fully funded family health care and a 3% wage increase this year and another next year. However, that offer does include cuts to programs and setbacks that the union says they are just not willing to accept. And for that reason, like they had warned, they are spread out across San Francisco schools this morning. And really a historic moment, like you said, we haven't seen this here in San Francisco in over 50 years.
Yeah, this is a big deal, especially for parents now trying to figure out what's going to happen with their kids and their learning. So what are you hearing from parents about this strike? Do they support the teachers?
Right, so this is a big disruption for working parents, what to do when it comes to childcare and also meals that so many families depend on here in San Francisco. We do know that the union has been giving these families plenty of notice about this strike, and they have organized student pods asking families to come up with a plan. We also know that the district, for the meantime, has distributed these independent study packets. So it's kind of like going back to the pandemic days for some students learning from home. As for parents, there are some parents that this really is an inconvenience, a disruption in their day. So we know that some parents angry about the situation, but a lot of parents also in support of the teachers, saying that we are going to back them 100%. They say teachers are the ones who really step in, being almost parents can be the reason why a child is encouraged to go to school and depend on them. So for the time being, you know, even parents who have 3 students enrolled in school doing what they can during this strike that we don't know how long is going to last, Bugo.
Yeah.
Teachers are very important. They definitely don't get paid enough, because it was a thought in my mind when I was younger to become a teacher, but the pay wasn't enough for me. Just thinking about the pay, and then especially in the younger, it would have to be like a college professor when I was thinking about this, because high school, especially them kids want to fight all nowadays, just wasn't me. But I will say teachers are very important, and they should be paid because of their importance. They help mold the children. But like they say, the city is already in a deficit. 100 million, something crazy like that. They're already in a deficit. So you know what that means? If they want to meet the demand, something has to be cut. Something has to be cut. Some kind of service has to be cut. They have to do something to meet the demands. They can't just pull money out of thin air. They might can do it by raising property taxes, but who's going to want to do that? Or who's going to agree to that? It's a sticky situation. Hopefully they meet some kind of resolution, because them staying out of school too long is going to affect the parents even more. They're going to have to stay home from work, missing work. But let me know your thoughts on the situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Teachers have to be paid a reasonable amount. A reasonable amount for what they deserve. Why? Because they are molding our young children. They are molding our young children. Like I said, let me know if you disagree with anything I said. We're going to pivot now into the next topic we're going to be discussing today. And we got to go. It's a little... we're starting to get into some of the sadness. So we got an Inglewood daycare. We got to go to Inglewood daycare, where a daycare worker is caught on video throwing a shoe at what's believed to be an autistic 5-year-old child. Yep, we got 2 videos to look at, and then we'll go into the AI breakdown to see what else we can find out. There are certain people who shouldn't work in childcare, and we know this, but they still do it. I am glad I heard that she was fired, so that's good. But let's get over to the video and see what we make of this whole situation.
A mother is demanding justice tonight after her daughter is hit at her daycare center with a shoe. The incident caught on surveillance camera. It happened at the Destiny Development Center in Lenox.
Tonight, the center is apologizing, but the mother of the 5-year-old girl with special needs says an apology isn't enough. Carlos Saucedo live in Lenox, where he spoke to the child's mother and the center's director. Carlos.
Mike Fisher, the director of the daycare, tells me that 3 staff members have since been terminated after one of them is seen throwing a shoe at a child. Tonight, the child's mother says she wants the teacher arrested for assault and child abuse. And the incident, it was caught on camera.
The video is disturbing. Beautiful. A 5-year-old special needs girl is heard crying after being hit with a shoe thrown across a classroom by a caregiver. In the background, at least one staff member is seen laughing. The incident happened January 16th at Destiny Development Center in Lenox.
I've been knowing these people for 3 years. I really thought my baby was safe with you.
The child's mom, Michelle Jones, and aunt were disgusted after seeing the footage just this week, more than 2 weeks after the incident.
How do you have a business and you don't review the footage?
Until the parent says something.
Why do we have to wait for my niece to come and tell us, hey, my teacher hit me in the ear with a shoe?
Beautiful had told her mom about the abuse the evening it happened. Her mother confronted the director of the state-licensed childcare facility shortly after, but says they were slow to respond.
The following day, she said that she went to the girl and she said, give me your story because I'm going to review the cameras. The girl's story was she was throwing shoes in another room that weren't supposed to be there, and Beautiful accidentally got hit in the ear with a shoe.
We went straight to the daycare to get answers. Are you the director, ma'am?
My school, what we stand for, it's not child abuse. We don't hire child abusers.
The center's director, Danielle Williams, says after gathering the initial complaint from the parent, she went ahead and terminated Miss Emily, the teacher who threw the shoe at Beautiful. She suspended the other 2 adults in the room after they failed to report the issue. But after reviewing the footage, they have since been fired as well. She says all the teachers go through a thorough background check.
Caregiver background check, FBI index, everything, and then the training that goes along with it. I wouldn't wish this on anybody's child, you know, and we don't stand for it, we don't agree with it.
But Beautiful's mom says an apology is not enough and is concerned this may not have been an isolated incident.
Like anybody else who laughs at child abuse, you need to be in jail. That's what I want. Justice.
Now, the family of Beautiful, they're planning on holding a rally outside the daycare this Friday. Now, the LA County Sheriff's Department has opened up their own investigation as well. We're live in Lenox.
Yeah, they definitely needed to be fired. How you take off your own shoe, throw it at a child, and then you got the people in the background just laughing, giggling, like nothing's the problem. And she's 100% right. She does not know if this has happened before. You got to go back and review the footage, but how long do they keep the footage? That's the question. But let's go over into this next video.
Caught on camera, a preschool teacher in Inglewood taking off her shoe and throwing it at a child.
CBS LA assignment editor Mike Rogers is at the desk. And Mike, a protest and press conference is happening outside of this facility.
Yeah, happening right now. We're just listening to some of the comments that are being made. But I first want to show you that video. It all caught on a security camera inside of that facility. Now, this happened about a month or so ago. You'll see the teacher here. She is on the left. She'll end up standing up, picking up her shoe. She notices the child doing something, takes her shoe off, throws it at the child, and it hits the child. Now, the child's mother says the child also has autism. The teacher immediately goes over to the child, appears in the video to be comforting. Now, we have blurred the teachers' faces because they have not been criminally charged with anything, but I can tell you at least one of the teachers begins to smile and almost laugh when this is happening. Now, the principal, or the director rather, of this preschool says none of the 3 teachers reported the incident to her. The director says they have all since been fired. I want to take you live now to that protest and the press conference that is ongoing just outside of that facility. This is the attorney for the family. There are community activists down there as well, a congresswoman also speaking out. But just moments ago, the child's mother also spoke out. Now, while the director in a video said everyone involved had been fired, the mother said it didn't happen instantly and her child still had to go to school with 2 of those teachers.
My baby went to school with people who abused her and laughed for a week and a half before you fired them. Then I come up here with the Lenox Police Department and they say them 2 people who were laughing at abuse can't be charged. I can't press charges. I'm devastated.
One of the first things we did when we heard about this is we reached out to the Department of Social Services for the state who monitors preschool. We asked about the record, the history of this facility. We wanted to pull some of the reports and show these to you. They've been cited a total of 7 times since 2021. But I want to draw your attention to something specific here about one of the times they were cited. They were cited, according to the state, for leaving a child unattended on a school bus. But they also say, the state does, that the required protocol here would have been for that director to report the incident to the State Department of Social Services, something they say they didn't do. They say they have 24 hours to do it. The incident was required to be called in within 24 hours of happening. The licensee failed to call in the incident. Here's why that is relevant to this situation. The family in this, the attorneys, the protesters, they accuse the facility of not doing that same exact thing, not reporting it to the state, not telling the parents in a timely manner, and it is something they are very upset about. You heard that very emotional sound from that child's mother. Our Lauren Posen is there at the preschool as well. You'll hear a more complete story from the mom, the attorney, attorneys, everybody involved in this, coming up in our later newscast, guys.
All right, we will see you then.
Absolutely crazy situation. Now, here's a question. Should the people who just laughed at abuse be charged? I think so. But what would the charge be? Failing to act during child abuse? Something like that. But I wonder why they can't be charged. Is it just because they just laughed at it? That's crazy to me. Let's go over into this AI breakdown to see if to get a little more information about this whole crazy situation. So as we know, a daycare worker at Destiny Development Center in the area of near Inglewood, California, was fired after surveillance footage showed her throwing a shoe at a 5-year-old girl with special needs. The incident occurred on January 9th, 2026 and sparked outrage. Let's see. I don't think it happened on, January 9th. So the video shows the staff member removing her shoe, hurling it across the room, striking the 5-year-old who has autism. The child can be heard crying immediately afterwards. 2 other employees were present in the room and witnessed the event, with one reportedly smiling and laughing. None of the 3 employees reported it to the director. The child mother was informed by her daughter about being hit in the ear. After reviewing the footage, the daycare center director fired all 3 individuals. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is investigating the incident as potential child abuse. It is not potential. That's child abuse. The director issued an apology via Instagram, and the facility is cooperating with the investigation. The director initially suggested the incident was an accident, stating that the worker was throwing a shoe into another room that weren't supposed to be there, and the child accidentally got hit in the ear with the shoe. But the video evidence contradicts the account. The child's mother expressed her trust in the facility over 3 years and is demanding the employees be arrested on child abuse and assault charges. Then we know that a protest was gathered out. Yeah, 100%. The person who threw the shoe has to be charged with child abuse. It's as simple as that. But the question is, can the 2 people who just watched be charged? It doesn't sound like the police have anything that they can charge them with. This just goes to show you have to be careful about where you send your children, because everyone's not going to have the same best interest at heart. But then you could go to these facilities who are supposed to be trained and professional with your children, handling them. And then something like this happens, and if the child wouldn't have said anything, it would just slip through the cracks. No one would have known about it. Then the question is, you don't know how much more you're missing. This could have happened to other children. This could have happened more times to her child. Something has to be done. They have to go back through way more footage. We got to go back through it. But how long? When to stop? It's a tragic situation. Someone needs to be charged. I'm happy that the little girl is all right, it sounds like. But this leads to terrible things happening, where I just talked about a video a couple weeks ago, probably a couple months ago, talking about a daycare worker who punched a little girl in the face. It was either a little girl or a little boy. They punched him in the face. Beat on the child. It's a problem. And they got to be something more than just child abuse. That's jail time, a lot of jail time. You're charged with taking care of children and you abuse them? That's like a cop who charged with taking care of the public ends up hurting the public. They have to be charged more because they are expected to be held at a higher standard. At least that's my thinking, y'all. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. We're going to pivot over into the next topic today. And it's even worse. It's even worse. I'm sorry, but we got a Vegas father has been sentenced to decades in jail. Why? Because a few years ago, we got a police body cam footage of them walking into kids being locked in dog cages. Both the stepmother and the father were charged. The world is a crazy place, y'all. The world is a crazy place. Let's go over into this next topic and see what we can find out. We're going to look at an older video where the stepmother was being charged. Then we'll get into the most recent one where the father was sentenced. Let's get over into it.
A woman heads to prison for failing to protect her stepchildren from severe abuse. In fact, 2 of them were even locked in a dog cage. 8 News Now, the only camera in court as she learned her fate.
This is a story the 8 News Now investigators first broke, and the video of the crime heartbreaking and of a sensitive nature. Vanessa Murphy has this story you'll only see here.
Hey, it's Metro Police.
This is the moment Las Vegas Metro Police rescued 6 abused children in June of 2023. 2 of them found in a dog cage. They were home alone, the oldest just 11 years old.
Every single day, the defendant failed to protect her 6 stepchildren.
This is stepmother Amanda Stamper at her sentencing Thursday. Her husband, Travis Doss, an unsuccessful rapper known as Trap Montana, is accused of torturing his 6 children while Stamper didn't call police or Child Protective Services.
Let me say something. We're not gonna stop it too much. They went in on them. Let's hear it one more time.
This is stepmother Amanda Stamper at her sentencing Thursday. Her husband, Travis Doss, an unsuccessful rapper known as Trap Montana, is accused of torturing his 6 children while Stamper didn't call police or Child Protective Services.
I'm embarrassed to be here. I know I should have done something sooner. I do take full responsibility for it. I was not in the best situation either, and I was scared.
Stamper says Doss also abused her and forced her to work as a prostitute. In a separate criminal case against Doss, Stamper is identified as a victim. The couple shared 1 child together at the time, the family of 9 living in a 1-bedroom unit at a weekly. Prosecutor Dina Renetti says Doss kept one of the children in the cage for at least 5 days, and the father had also starved him.
Her actions and her inactions will affect these children for the rest of their lives.
Renetti says Stamper had access to a car and the ability to leave and call police. And at one point, Doss had even texted Stamper a photo of one of the children saying he killed him. The child appeared to be dead, but he was alive. Renetti says there was one concern, though, from Stamper, which prompted her to call 911. Doss had been cheating on her.
It was all about her, and it was never about the children.
Stamper pleaded guilty to 3 counts of felony child abuse, resulting in multiple counts she originally faced being dropped. Clark County District Court Judge Nadia Krall sentencing her to 7 to 18 years in prison, with credit for more than 9 months she's already spent in jail. Stamper recently gave birth to another child, while Doss remains in jail and continues to fight his case. Vanessa Murphy, 8 News Now.
You mean to tell me the only reason you call police, is because he's cheating on you, or you found that he's cheating on you? Not because he was locking kids. That one kid looked malnourished, like he was beaten on. And the only reason you call the police is because he's cheating on you? Yeah, she had to be sentenced. Nah, there's no way. But let's go over into this next video where the father has been sentenced.
And images of children trapped in a dog cage captured our attention. This was actually 3 years ago. But now there's an update as a Las Vegas father is sent to prison for decades. 8 News Now reporter James Schaefer with how long that man will serve now behind bars.
Sweetie, nothing's gonna happen, okay? We just want to make sure you're okay.
A disturbing scene we first showed you in 2023, the sound of a dog barking and children crying. Las Vegas police discovering 6 children home alone, 2 of them rescued from a dog cage on the apartment floor.
The chaotic scene, the one-bedroom extended stay unit near the Las Vegas Strip, was occupied by Doss and his then-wife, Amanda Stamper, who was pregnant at the time of her arrest.
I say I'm innocent, and I wouldn't like to continue this interview without my lawyer.
At that time, Travis Doss had agreed to an interview with 8 News Now investigator Vanessa Murphy.
Why did you think it was okay to put 2 children in cages?
I don't think you heard me. I said I'm innocent, and I would like my lawyer to be present.
The reason why judgment should not be passed.
Doss appearing in court last year, where he pled guilty to 6 counts of child abuse after a delay, expressing that he felt the deal was unfair.
I feel like I just want to have a fair hearing.
Court documents show Doss asking to serve prison time in either Georgia or Mississippi. His sentence from 18 to 72 years. Counting his time in jail, Doss could be eligible for parole by 2041.
It was God with me on that one. Something told me to talk to these kids because I'm a father myself.
In the end, the maintenance worker who found those children, Keith Archibald, telling us he left his job following the incident after an unforgettable moment when he entered that unit.
I was raised to be a man and raised to do the right thing.
And we can now report the children involved are all being cared for. Last year, Doss's then-wife was sentenced to 7 to 18 years in prison for failing to intervene to protect those children. But then prosecutors did identify her as a victim in a separate sex trafficking case.
Yeah, I can understand why the maintenance worker left, because after seeing that, I can't imagine. You walk in trying to just do regular maintenance on it, and you see kids locked in dog cages? That's something to shake up anybody. Let's go over into the AI breakdown so we can just see any more details that we need to know about this whole case. So let's get into it. So we know Travis Doss, 34, Las Vegas father, was sentenced on February 5th to 18 to 72 years in prison for his role in severe child abuse, where he locked 2 of his 6 children in dog cages. He pleaded guilty to 6 counts of child abuse. While he initially agreed to the plea deal, he later attempted to argue that 18 to 72 years was too harsh, as he would miss his children's entire childhood. He will be eligible for parole in 2041. Too harsh? And he's just trying to do whatever he can to get up out of jail. Talking about he'll miss it. That's crazy. Let's keep going though. Let's keep going. So the children were found in June 2023 by a maintenance worker at the extended stay near Las Vegas Strip. Police body cam footage showed 2 children of the 6 locked inside a single dog cage. His ex-wife, Amanda, was sentenced to 7 to 18 years for failing to intervene and protect the children. Let's go right here. So police found 6 children ages 11 and younger living in 1-bedroom unit. 2 of the children were discovered locked in a single dog cage. So 1 child was found severely beaten, emancipated. That the doctor compared the injuries to that seen in a combat zone. The child required immediate surgery and blood transfusion for survival. Doss told investigators he locked the children in the cages for days at a time to prevent them from stealing food and to allow injuries from his beatings to heal. Yeah, this is a demon. This is a demon in human form. So he faces nearly 40 felony charges, including kidnapping, sex trafficking. He eventually pleaded guilty to the 6 counts of child abuse, resulting in substantial bodily harm. The case was delayed for over a year after Doss was initially found incompetent to stand trial. Doctors later determined that he was feigning mental illness, and he was deemed fit to proceed until late 2024. So you mean to tell me he got this pushed back a year because he's faking a mental illness? Doss' then wife Amanda reported the abuse after Doss threatened to kill her. She later pled guilty to child neglect and failing to intervene and was sentenced to 7 to 18 years. At the time of his arrest, Doss was wanted in South Carolina for aggravated assault. Before his arrest, he performed as a rapper using the name Trap Montana. The world is a crazy place. The world is a cruel place. People like this don't even deserve to see the light of day. But he's up for parole in 2041. Up for parole in 2041. Absolutely crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on this whole thing. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. I wonder where the mother is, because she said that the stepmother only had one child with him. So where's the mother? Is she gone? Is she doesn't care? Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. We're going to pivot over into the last topic we're going to be discussing today. And it's more stuff about some young teens. This teen himself seems like might be down on the wrong path or already gone through the wrong path. We got a 14-year-old neo-Nazi Satanist. I've never heard that combination used before. Neo-Nazi Satanist. Let's get over into it. We got 2 videos to look at and the AI breakdown. But it seems like he was planning a church shooting. And luckily he was caught. Let's get into it and see if we can make it this whole situation. Let's jump into it.
Threats of mass violence and the exploitation of children are some of the most heinous crimes we investigate. And this case was no different. 14-year-old Jose Bagan Jr. was engaged in an online chat room that's designed or designated for violent extremists. In this online chat room, he discussed shooting up a church nearby his home located in Waimama. He didn't specify which church that was. This case is a dangerous intersection between individuals that engage in online activity and the real-life threat that it poses. This 14-year-old is linked to a neo-Nazi satanic group called Temple of Love, where they advocate and encourage violence to achieve spiritual enlightenment. This residence a few days earlier, this search warrant and arrest happened on January 31st. A few days earlier, on January 27th, we had received information, and our internet predator unit was working a suspected child exploitation allegations at the same address, child pornography charges coming from the same IP address located at a computer within that home.
What?
So armed with the search warrants, detective service search warrant, and realized that the computer is linked to this 14-year-old. Doing a cursory search, they discovered 14 extremely graphic, disturbing images where individuals were inflicting violence towards infants and toddlers. Images too graphic and too disturbing to discuss because they would keep all of you up at night. He was placed under arrest for those images. I firmly believe, now that we recovered and seized all his electronics devices, that there will be additional charges pending once we complete the forensic download of his electronic devices.
Is this nurture or nature? Was he born like this, or this something that society turned him into?
The question being, did he have access to firearms? Could he commit this violence? Inside his father's safe, which he didn't have access to, was an assault rifle and 2 firearms. But there was a firearm located and recovered in his dad's nightstand that he easily could have had access to. Think about the potential of the violence that could have occurred. At this time, there's 2 churches located in the nearby area of where his house is. We have directed patrol activities that are occurring, which means several times throughout the day, especially during worship service, we will make sure that we have a presence at these churches to deter him or anyone else who thought that they may inflict violence. Whether it be a place of education, a place of worship, or any type of public place, this community has an expectations of safety, and it will always be a focal point of safety and a priority for each of us. He has been charged with written terroristic threats, along with the images that I spoke about, the 14 images, the 10 or more images of the child pornography that he was found to be in possession of. He is currently charged as a juvenile. Let me make something very clear. Don't let the age of this suspect diminish the seriousness of these crimes that he committed.
So why a juvenile? Big boy crimes need big boy times. We talked about this plenty of times.
We will work with the state attorney. Whether he's charged as an adult or not charged as an adult will be a decision that she will ultimately make. I can tell you that after the 21-day hold of this juvenile, based on the seriousness of crimes and the graphic images and the threats of violence and this violent extremist group that he was a part of, where we retrieved images where he was dressed in black, where he wore the white t-shirt with the symbol LLM, No Lives Matter. I'm extremely worried about this 14-year-old integrating back into our community where our loved ones live. At this time, what questions can I attempt to answer? This case is extremely worrisome. Cases like this, I always stand in front of a camera and I advocate that there's no such thing as being a helicopter pilot. There's no such thing as being a helicopter parent. There's no such thing as overparenting. Please, if I can make a plea to every parent out there, there's no such thing as overparenting. Make sure you're monitoring your child's online activity. Who are they associating with? Who are they talking to? God forbid it ever reach the level that an activity that this 14-year-old was engaged in. Yes, we received a tip from the Joint Terrorism Task Force about the mass shooting. And at the same time, a few days earlier, we received a tip from a child exploitation hotline that we received that they got information that there was child pornography images being downloaded at this residence. This is when the detectives immediately took action, got a search warrant, and were able to get to this point today where this individual is no longer a threat to this community.
Sheriff, that moment when you were made aware of these sort of 2 different investigations, you have the terrorism one and then also the child porn, when you realize it's the same address and potentially the same suspect, what runs through your mind?
Well, I was grateful the fact that we have a system, an internal system, where anytime we're working something at a residence, it's communicated throughout the agency. So regardless of what department or division or your assignment is, there's information sharing. So I was happy the fact that we have the Internet Predator Unit along with the Joint Terrorism Task Force detective that's associated with that task force that was able to communicate when they started researching these addresses and get linked up and be able to put a stop to any type of threat of violence or someone that continues to engage in this type of behavior before it was able to become an even larger threat to this community.
This extremist group that you mentioned, is this like a Florida
This is a neo-Nazi satanic group that advocates for violence as a terms of achieving spiritual enlightenment. This is a national recognized hate group, and their tentacles go into any community, especially that of a vulnerable 14-year-old who's left unsupervised, engaged in, and did nothing but become more and more associated with this group. To what extent? Luckily, thankfully, we'll never know. The parent was quite upset. The child didn't seem much bothered by it. The only explanation he gave is he was trying to be edgy. I don't know if I'll ever understand that. The dad was upset. You could even see on the deputy's body cam that the dad was admonishing him. I told you not to get on there. I told you not to talk to these people. I told you not to associate with these people. He was upset.
Oh, hold on. Does that mean that he had prior knowledge that he was doing stuff like this and associating with these kind of people? This is crazy.
There certainly will, I firmly believe that there'll be additional charges. Those weren't the only 14 images. I firmly believe there'll be additional images. Now, once we conduct our forensic sweep of these images, depending on how many images, more images that we recover, when we do a deep dive, even when they erase it, we can still get to it. I don't know. I think that's the worrisome and scary part, but it's much more than those 14 images. I can assure you. The weapons? Yeah, his dad had the weapons locked in a safe that he didn't have access to, but there was a weapon that he could have easily assessed that was in his dad's nightstand. Thank you, everyone.
14 years old, y'all. 14 years old and a part of a neo-Nazi satanic group. Let's go over to the AI breakdown just so we can break down a little bit more of this. So early February, Hillsborough County arrested a 14-year-old identified as Jose Pagan Jr. for allegedly planning a mass shooting at a church in Florida. So the teen allegedly discussed plans to carry out a mass shooting at the church near his home in an online chat room used by violent extremists. The sheriff stated that the boy was linked to a neo-Nazi satanic group known as the Temple of Love, which reportedly glorifies violence as a path to enlightenment. During the search, they found guns and ammo, which we heard about. The investigation also uncovered child pornography or child sex abuse material on the subject's electronic devices, including extremely graphic images of violence against infants and toddlers at 14 years old. Did he just download it because he liked to see them? What? So he was arrested on January 31st, 2026 and faces several serious charges, including making threats of mass shooting or acts of terrorism and multiple counts of related to the child pornography. Authorities are considering whether to charge him as an adult. Charge him as an adult. You don't even need to think about it. But I did have more questions about the online stuff. So while he was only arrested for the physical plot, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office found the teen was engaged in other violent actors in the online extremist community. So we got the Temple of Love. The teen was linked to a neo-Nazi group also referred to as Temple of Blood, I think that's how you say it, which encouraged murder and terrorism as a means to achieve spiritual enlightenment. So he also discussed his plans in an online chat room specifically designed for violent extremists, where he reportedly idolized past mass murders, referring to them as saints. So role of the parents. Here's a good. So no charges have been reportedly against the child's father at the time. though the investigator noted significant details regarding his involvement. So they talked about the gun access that was in the nightstand. Prior warning. So according to the sheriff, the father was furious during the arrest and had previously warned his son not to talk to the people on the internet. Now that's Michael. Was he known to was he just saying not to talk to people on the internet in general, or did he know what his son was involved with, or know who the kind of people he liked to talk to, which is crazy to think about. And then they say the investigation remains ongoing. 14 years old Jose Pagan Jr., neo-Nazi Satanist. The first time I've heard that all together. Who had child pornography, or child sex abuse material, and violence, abuse of infants and toddlers. This little kid needs to be in jail. 14 years old, you know what's right from wrong. Send him away. Because if he really went, if he would have grabbed that gun out of the nightstand, it would have been a bad day for anybody. Anybody he would have met. All because he, for some reason, believes that the temple of love is right and that the violence is the path to enlightenment. Now here's a question. I always say this. The father seemed generally upset. But the point is the father the cause of it? Is it him being too strict? Is it him not being strict enough? Is it just the child was born bad? What is it? Because at 14 years old, you shouldn't be thinking about this kind of stuff. This is a crazy world we live in, y'all, but we got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said, because this is a crazy situation. I wonder how much time he'll get. Will he be charged with a juvenile or as an adult? Hopefully, I'm thinking he needs to be charged as an adult. I've said this several times. Y'all know my saying. Big boy crimes need big boy time. It's as simple as that. But that's it for this topic, y'all. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. But that is it for the show today, y'all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in now. Thank you for tuning in later. We talk about a lot of heavy things. So like always, let me know if you disagree with anything I said. I'm not going to say I know everything, but if you disagree, let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion. I might have missed something. Tell me. The world can be a cold place, but we got to review this stuff together, y'all. We have to review this stuff together. You already know these videos will be broken down so you can see the exact one you want. Look after your kids, y'all. Look after your kids. Because other people won't, and then you never know what they can get into. But that's it for now, y'all. You already know I got to play that outro. That's it. Peace.